backing as well, and they are the they are the face of the government when it comes to dealing with investments. So I can give you an example. I mean, you would have seen this very impressive product display, then the collaterals of this Munich-based company called Light Auto. Now, in a short while from now, maybe in another 30 minutes from now, you will witness a very historical announcement which this company is making. So I'll let you wait till then. But the point which I'm making is that this entire investment proposal was closed in just literally about maybe 15 days or so, with the help of our Invest Telangana colleagues, led by our director for automotive, who is also amongst us. So every sector, so we have a director for life sciences, we have a director for electronics, we have a director for aerospace, we have a director for retail, we have a director for logistics, we have a director for food processing, we have a director for textiles, we have a joint director who looks after animation, gaming, etc. Our director for information technology is also sitting here. So this is how Invest Telangana is organized. So if you reach out to us, you can assure that a professional who understands the domain will interact with you, and we give them lots of autonomy, we give them lots of flexibility. They can discuss multiple things and provide government's commitment. It's not a very hierarchical, procedurally complicated system that we follow. Many of the decisions can be taken then and there by the directors, because they understand that if there is something of relevance for the state, we should not pull back on anything. We should just go ahead and make the investors comfortable and give them that sense of welcome and appreciation for the investment that they are going to bring here. So I'm very happy that all of you have come here. We will be interacting with you for the next couple of hours. There will be important speeches by Mr. B.V.R. Mohan Reddy, who till recently was the honorary consul here, and is the executive chairman of a very important, very prominent IT company called Scient, was also the former president of NASSCOM. He will be telling you about the standard issues which any overseas company first confronts with. For example, is talent available, is skill available? So he will speak about that. Of course, Honorable Minister will be telling you about our industrial policy and what can you expect to get here in Telangana or to receive in Telangana. And of course, the ambassador will be telling you about his perspective on how Indo-German bilateral trade, commerce, other exchanges are getting promoted in the present regime. But most importantly, you will be listening to some company representatives who actually have been doing business in Telangana for a few years now. And most of you have also chosen to participate in site visits, which is again very, very important, because see, we can go on talking for hours altogether. I mean, there's nothing that we can't speak of. But eventually, the proof of whatever we say is that how much of it is happening on the ground. And nothing better than to actually go to companies without any one of us being there, just ask them direct questions, get a sense of understanding of what they get in Telangana, what we not effectively deliver, and then come to your conclusions about how would you rank this state as compared to other 27 states in the country. So once again, a warm welcome to all of you from my behalf also. I will be available throughout till you leave for your site visits. I'm available. So at any point in time, if any one of you want to reach out and maybe exchange cards or have some specific questions, etc., even when we are having lunch, I'll be happy to spend time and interact with you. Warm welcome once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving us such essential takeaways. We will now move to a very interesting section, that is the panel discussion on the experiences of German companies in Telangana, which will be moderated by Ms. Amita Desai, Executive Director, Gaute Zentrum. And as a part of the panel discussion, we do have 3 panelist speakers. Mr. Krishnaswamy Jambunathan, Vice President and Head for ZF Tech Center India, Mr. Colt, Mayor, Managing Director for Void Turbo India, and Mr. Shashidhar Reddy, Managing Director for Shakti Horman. May I now request all the panelists and the moderator to come onto stage, and I will hand over the session to the moderator. Thank you.
A very good morning. Thank you. A very good morning to all of you on the stage and off the stage. It's a wonderful opportunity, I think, for us to, at the investors meet, to talk about why India and Germany. I think that is a basic question, of course, but to move beyond that, because you have made that coming together of India and Germany not only possible, but also successful. So I think it is crucial for many people who are looking inward, outward, and back inward again to consider what are the opportunities, what are the roadblocks, how does one deal with it, and of course reach the stage where all three companies that you represent have reached. So I would like to move immediately into discussion and talk and learn from your experiences and your journey. Maybe you, Krish, if I may start with, since you happen to, and I'll just go line-wise because, you know, I didn't want to go alphabetical or anything like that. Let's just begin. You do represent one company which has had a meteoric growth, and particularly in the recent years. Do tell us a little bit about your journey, about the experiences, how Hyderabad or India has had an impact on this experience.
First, thank you. Hello.
Why don't you use this? This one does work.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thanks for coming again. It's a great honor here. Thanks, Ms. Amita, for asking the question. So we represent ZF. ZF is a company, again, basically on next generation mobility. We clocked about 36 billion last year, and that gives you the scale of the company that we are talking about. Primarily, we are into supporting next generation mobility on the three domains, three segments, on commercial vehicles, passenger vehicles, and industrial divisions. Is it better now? Thank you. Of course, we support on the See, Think and Act and on the technology domains with a focus on electric mobility. Sustainability becomes a key thing, and we have declared in the recent IEA also as 2040 as a time for climate action, in our case up to 50%. What we have done in the tech center, let me talk about Hyderabad, is a tech center that we started in 2017 March. It's about 4.5 years. We are already close to 2,300 associates over here. And I would say this growth has been possible because of what we see as a talent and our ability to leverage what we are seeing in the region here. So as we started growing over here, I think it is not a question of back office, it's been all engineering work that has been done here. Moving on to two aspects. When a large corporation like that looks at a city in Hyderabad, we are doing two things. One, we support what is the current business. We also position ourselves for the new business. into the area of digital as well as in automotive applications and advanced engineering. So that's how we have balanced to grow this. And I would say the key anchor has been availability of talent and the support that we are able to get in ramping up.
So the availability of talent is a crucial thing. Is that something that's easily accessible, or does one have to work on it? Are there training programs that you have to introduce? How does that work?
Ms. Amita, there's two things. One, to start initially, Money Hyderabad definitely helps. Okay, there's a pull of the state that helps us to get people. But then once the engine starts running, you see that there are people available who can be trained and much faster. For example, even today we have got a program where people are joining. Just as we speak, about 60 people, of them 90% are from the state, are joining us today as new starting.
They are
So
from
that's
the state.
From the state. So that's how we are able to get that. So the ramp up is there, but initially, yes, you need to get that. Again, the connect with the global team. ZF, through our partner in the past, TRW has been involved with Hyderabad. So that has helped us to attract the talent and have the build the brand name. So that's how I would say that the building and retaining talent is fairly easier here. Thank you.
And that is because of the talent that you find, or it's because of the training that they have come with, or is it the push that they get from the state itself?
Talent is available, definitely. The training helps us to align with our business objectives. That's where the training helps. And definitely the environment plays a big role in retaining that talent.
Lovely. Shashidarji, can I request you to please tell us about your journey? You're like the door to the world, right? So tell us a little bit
Good
about
morning,
that.
thank you. We started in '94, and it's been a long journey in the state of Telangana. It was erstwhile state of Andhra Pradesh. But the Germans, the Herman company, it's a family-owned company. It's $1 billion plus in terms of turnover. They have about 33 plants across the globe. And they invested into Shakti in 2012. Since then, we have expanded. We have moved from not only the original products, which were commercial doors. We now have a range of industrial doors. We're now getting into perimeter security, the whole host of products that we are bringing to the domestic market. We also do some amount of exports from here. It's limited to places. There are certain products that we make, which the other subsidiaries of Herman do not make. And we cater to those markets and those products where there's a demand for such products. Insofar as Hyderabad as a location, Telangana, I think first of all, as companies, what do we look for? We look for physical infrastructure. And I think we have an excellent airport. We have all the connectivity, the ORR. If you look at the metro. So in terms of physical infrastructure, we have extremely good infrastructure here. When it comes to social infrastructure, I think it has, in the last at least 2 decades, I think we have really moved far ahead in terms of having good schools, hospitals, a lot of good residential spaces. So in terms of social infrastructure also, I think we have, Hyderabad is today the place to be in terms of any, if somebody is talking about investing into any place or having a second location, in my opinion, it would be the first choice today. Though of course we are from Hyderabad, so we're probably partial to it, but the fact still remains, if you were to look at, we do have traffic issues here, but by and far in terms of connectivity and where Hyderabad is located, we're central. Whether it's the south of India, the west of India, and in some parts of the north, we're very well connected. And that's been a major advantage in the business that we're in. Long term, we may look at a facility up in the north, but that's purely in terms of addressing certain areas of the northern market. In terms of labor relationships, I think it's very cordial here. There is abundant talent, both from the workers and in terms of managerial staff. Yes, of course, there are certain areas in terms of skill sets that we all work on. There is always a need for more skilled people. And probably this is one area where I think Germany could help, along with Skill India, that we could have a good training center that could be established here. It would definitely help a lot of engineering companies. 2 years back, if somebody were to say that this could be Hyderabad or this area could be, India could be an alternate supply chain destination, I think it wasn't possible to even discuss it because China and a lot of other parts of Southeast Asia were far ahead. But I think post-COVID, there's a lot of possibilities, and especially in the engineering side. So I see a lot of potential in this particular area.
So how was it that you actually selected India and particularly Hyderabad as the destination?
In our case, it's a little bit different. We were here before the Hermans came in, so they invested and acquired us in 2012. So, but obviously, what they felt when they came here, when Hermans came to India, they first set up an office in Bombay, and their first destination for manufacturing was actually Pune. And there is a large number of German companies. The German presence is very strong in Pune. But after coming to Hyderabad, I think they feel that this was a good place that, I mean, obviously once they invest into us, but in terms of even wanting to look at another facility and stuff like that, they felt that this is a good place to be in.
Yeah, we have to change that, make Hyderabad larger than Pune presence, but let's work towards that.
Yes, I think we would need the help of a lot of German companies.
Right.
And Hermann is a family-owned company. I think it's called the Mittelstand. I think there are a lot of German companies which are family-owned, and there's a constant, I think Schuko has also invested into a Hyderabad company. I think if one were to look at building materials, I think Telangana is somehow in the forefront of a lot of building material companies, whether it's doors, windows, tiles, roofings. So a lot of focus here on building materials. No particular reason, but I think it seems to have become a destination for building materials.
Lovely, wonderful. May I request then Mr. Meyer to tell us, you just celebrated 150 years of FOIS, and FOIS India is growing and has been large and providing to the region and beyond. What was that decision to come to India? Because you came far before other companies did. So what is your journey and what is your experience?
Yeah, very, very, very nice question, which I think I can talk the whole day about it. But bring it in onto a short nutshell. Yeah, Void Group is a family-owned company, worldwide active, especially leading world leader in paper machine manufacturers. About 50% of the worldwide paper is coming from our machines. I think we are world leader in hydro energy machines, and we call ourselves also one of the 3 leaders in so-called drive arrangements. And these drive arrangements brought us here to Hyderabad in 1987. So there was no Telangana existing, it was Andhra Pradesh. And Hyderabad was, compared to today, a very small village. About 1.5 million people were living here. Today it's about 7 times more. And the reason why we came here was our big customer BHL, Bharat Heavy Electric Limited. And with them we grew here, definitely in the power area, quite a lot. And nowadays we are going further on. So the lookout for producing local has changed in producing global. And we have here in Telangana and Hyderabad everything what you can dream of. I think the infrastructure is very well done. I mean, I was here founding this company in '87, and when we were looking for land, there was no support from somewhere else, and we had no power, we had no water. We had to look for ourselves, and today, if I'm looking here around, if you want to establish a company here, I mean, that is a very easy cup of tea, which you have to drink, very easy, and there's a lot of help from the state, which at that time wasn't. So coming back to that, talents, as a world active company, you're looking always for talents. around the world, and you find them. And here, this area is full of talents. There are young people, and the world is at the moment quickly changing in digitalization. You find them here. Just look around, they are there. And that is what we are looking and what we need for. We are changing from what is called mechanical stuff into digitalized stuff. So you need more software, you need more electronics, you need more engineering. That's all there. So I see these things very positive.
Excellent. Now tell me, as a European company, and the local talent and the skills that they come with, there might need to be something that needs to be done. So between the cup and the lip, there must be the quality controls, the skilling or upskilling. How does that get tackled? How do you work on that?
Put it this way: quality is for us not at all a compromise.
Right.
Since we have 150 years young, we never made a compromise on quality, not at all. Though, yes, if you find them, you have to train them in the way of getting into your culture understanding, and then you shift them up and down the line, as I say, from here to Germany and from Germany to here, forwards and backwards. And nowadays it's very easy, you go online. So you need not even to spend a lot of time here and there. So the communication helps us quite a lot to increase the level of understanding and the level of acting on different things. So we have several projects which engineering is here, and the production is, for example, in Brazil. So we are interacting with that. It's not an issue anymore.
Excellent, wonderful. Do you also feel that, Shashidarji? I mean, is that something that culture was what Hemaya brought out? The culture of work, the culture of quality, the culture of understanding the product and the design and the delivery. How did you manage to translate that?
In terms of people, in terms of having the right skill sets, at least the engineering knowledge, there's an abundant amount of talent. Obviously, there's some level of training that one has to give, but getting them to maintain quality, I think Karen or somebody had made a statement, it's a given now, in the sense that as a company, we've always made a product which is, I think, it's an exportable product. We made it right from 1994. So once the workers, it's also the kind of facility that you also create. I remember in the early days when we first set up, it's a sheet metal company. Ultimately, steel door manufacturing is sheet metal. So when somebody comes to a sheet metal door company and they look at it, they expect it to be, a lot of steel lying around, scrap and welding and a lot of racket, untidy. But I think we always maintained a very neat facility, as some of the members of the chamber who would be visiting our facility today will see. It's extremely clean. It's always been clean. And I think that adds to the culture of the worker who also comes and works there. It gets translated into the product. So I really didn't see much of an issue in terms of getting adequate trained workforce here.
And achieve the standards that the global market requires.
Yes.
Is that your experience as well, Krish?
Yeah.
How are the markers of success and quality instilled in the skilled professionals?
Yeah, I think, as you know, for engineering, definitely we have always been known, India. But what also happens is, I think where we see the state evolving is the same culture that you see mini India. I would say, as Mr. Jayashanjan mentioned about the 28 states, that culture is coming in because the way we are positioned, it is attracting talent from all over India. And that is giving us an advantage of what we are capable of. So you really see the diversity taking shape here and helping contribute to the state. And we are set up again as an export special economic zone, so we are doing all of the work is for Grover. So that culture of working and engineering development is really built in. And when you have the right environment, we are able to attract the right talent and use the diversity to deliver. That's how I would see as an opportunity here.
Wow, that's an excellent, because that is quite a diverse. I mean, you're actually creating a global creator
Yes.
sitting here in Hyderabad.
Exactly.
And that obviously is a doable thing. I mean, that's very clear. Are there any roadblocks that you see? I mean, are there issues that do happen which are difficult to circumvent? Are there things that we need to go to our authorities and say, these could be different, these could be smoother, or the reverse of that, these were so good that we could reach here? What is your experience in terms of the infrastructure and legal and other structures available?
Thank you. I'll give one specific example and let the people can know from it. Is all of us went through the pandemic, right? And last year when we had the pandemic, like any other company, we were also not prepared. And Rakesh, who is here, heads of finance, made a call to Amar, who is here also, and we were able to get connected with the government and the support in moving the work home in a matter of few weeks. Why I say it's a big challenge is, we have a lot of hardware equipment, we have other tools. It's not easy to, in the pandemic period when there's a national lockdown, to move things. I would say that is one very clear example of how the government has supported in ensuring that today in any in any of our internal meetings, we are quoted as an example of how we are able to move work on record. And I think that's clearly due to the support that we have received. And I would say it is always a phone call away for anything. We do not have to go for anything else. We are a special economic zone. We are running the operations. Second pandemic also same thing, the second wave. We went through that. So that is, in my view, is one clear example of how the government support works.
So how was it? What happened? I mean, machines can't be taken home, so...
So the equipments, in our case, it's the hardware and tools, but the movement, facilitation of the movement, it's just like how you create a green corridor for medical purpose. It's the same thing that we create an industrial corridor, we make sure wherever we are, those lanes are cleared, and simplify the pass movement so that people can move the work home and the movement of vehicles. So that was very essential. We literally moved about 1,500 computers home, along with the hardware. So that's the sort of logistics and day-to-day working that we are talking about, as an example. That's from
Are
me.
there any issues, any one of you, any issues that could be different? Or is there something that the government could do differently? Could India do differently to bring in more from abroad? Something that you're all thinking. So obviously there's nothing. It's all quite smooth.
Maybe direct flights from here to Germany, that would help.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Wonderful. Yes, so I think perhaps to Mr. Meyer, I mean, you are an expat, and while work is at one level, professionalism is at one level, I mean, how is the living environment in the city, since you happen to be here, but you have, of course, branches elsewhere as well, so there might be other experiences, but how is it? How's the culture? How's the social intermingling and schooling and other academic platforms?
Yeah, okay. Put it this way: schooling. I'm out of school, and my kids are already old enough. Though I had never ever had a problem with that. So social life here in Hyderabad, for me as expert, is excellent. And since I came the first time here in '87, I have friends. I cannot really all name them and number them up, but I think it's important here, not only here, it's important for India. You have to be willing to be open. And if you like food, Indian food, and if you like the people, things are coming around by themselves. And then you are getting closely into what I call it, this Indian family network. And if you are feeling a part of that, then you are middle into that. And here in Hyderabad, as I said, I'm a part of that. I'm a member of one of the oldest clubs here already. And Hyderabad is such an attractive city compared to, let's say, most of the German cities. This city here is not sleeping at all anymore. You find here restaurants from A to Z. You find here possibilities to be active whatever you want, even sailing. Yeah? And we are not on the seaside. You can do this too. So the world is open here.
Wonderful.
He's forgotten about the beer.
Well, that's coming too. To the group here, and perhaps each one of you can take a few minutes on that. Are there any leads, any experiences, any messages that you'd like to let people who would like to walk in your shoes, to have grown roots here and then expand and be so successful? What are the mantras that you can hand over?
I think we represent a clear example of having established in 4 years. So it's not something we have been there for a year or anything, for a long time or anything. We are very clearly an example of having established in 4.5 years and grown. And I would say it has not been any sort of issue in terms of hiring talent or in terms of support from government where we need to go and make a representation or anything. That's what I say. So we are allowed not only just to do our business, we are also enabled well to do our business. And that's something, again, any help is always a phone call away.